Now that White Lotus Season 2 is over, there's one big question that everyone is having about Season 3, and that is who will be the returning cast member or members. As we know, in Season 2, we got a completely new cast and location except for two people, Tanya and Greg, who both returned. In Season 3, we will most likely follow a similar format, so who will it be this time? I'm going to start with the few characters I think we can completely rule out for sure, and I'm going to start with Ethan and Harper. Out of everyone's story, they seemed to be the most complete. They went into the season with obviously a non-healthy relationship, and it only got worse as they constantly didn't get along, and then of course Harper cheated on Ethan with Cameron. But then Ethan got back by most likely sleeping with Daphne, and ironically, that seems to have fixed and saved their relationship, whether or not that is a healthy and good thing. But by the end of the season, in the airport scene, I can say that I'm most confident in their relationship going forward, and most confident that their story is over, compared to others. I don't think there's really anything else to explore with them. I also think we can rule out Lucia and Mia. I think they're most likely to stay put in their location, and of course we'll be seeing a new White Lotus location in Season 3. You can make the argument that Lucia did care a little bit for Albie, but I still think there's nothing further to explore with them. If she did care for him, she did not care enough to stay. Lucia got her money, Mia got her job singing, so they are likely done. That's it for the people I think we can completely rule out. Now I want to talk about some that are possible, but I still think are unlikely. The first two on this list are Dominic and his father, Bert. I think if one of them were to come back, it would be Dominic. I think Bert's story was wrapped up well. When we last see Dominic, we're still uncertain if he can change completely. We know he wants to fix things with his family, but he also checked out someone at the airport. So although his arc can still continue in Season 3, I think the ending with it being uncertain is almost better. We don't need to know what happens next, we can assume. And we don't really need to see him have the same exact arc in Season 3, of trying to fix his family and resist his temptations. One other character that I think is unlikely but possible is Jack. His story kind of has an open ending as well. His uncle and that group are dead now, so maybe he starts to branch off on his own life. Maybe that could lead to him going to another White Lotus. But just like Dominic, I think leaving his story open-ended is good. There's a lot of questions about him and his character, and I think leaving it up to our interpretation is a better way to do it. Just like Season 1, we don't need every character's future answered. We don't need all the questions about them and their relationships answered. It's one of the great things about the show. Now, I don't know if investigating Tanya's death is something we'll explore in Season 3, but we do know that someone is going to be going after Greg. And if that's the case, I wouldn't mind if Jack came back to go find him. The series creator, Mike White, did confirm that someone will be trying to track him down. So it may not be like police investigators, but an individual may be looking for him. There's not too many people alive that know about that situation, but Jack is one of them, and he would make sense, whether it's for a good reason, like he's morally changed and he wants to take him down, or for his own selfish reason, he wants the money, since he's the only person in that group that's still alive. Now I'll get into the characters that I think are most likely. The first is Greg. A big part of that, and really the only part of that, is being what I just said. Mike White said that Season 3 will tie into Tanya's storyline, and that almost guarantees he will be in it since he had her killed. Portia is also a big possibility for the same reason. She knows about Greg and Tanya's situation, she knows what happened, and she could also be after him. There's also another scenario in which she could be in Season 3. Maybe she doesn't want to go after Greg for the same reason she didn't in the first place, the same reason she went to the airport, because she's scared and those people are powerful. But maybe we see her in Season 3 with Albie. At the end of Season 2, we saw them exchange numbers. Maybe Portia and Albie return and go on a separate vacation together, without Portia being held back by Tanya, or Albie being held back by his father and grandfather. We could also see if Albie starts to follow some of the bad traits of his dad, because we saw him kind of give the eye to that woman as well when she was walking by him in the airport. One other big possibility is Daphne and maybe Cameron. Although they seem to be in a good place throughout the season, the ending felt questionable, And the reason I put good place in quotations is because obviously they were toxic and weren't really in the healthiest relationship, but they didn't seem to care. They were happy with what they had. But I feel like there was a question as to whether or not they would be okay by the end of the show. Daphne also mentioned what their next vacation was going to be. Maybe that's where season 3 takes place, and maybe they go there. Or maybe Daphne goes on her own, having split up with Cameron. If they are in it, it's either both of them or just her. I don't think we get Cameron on his own. And that's it for the main characters of Season 2. In my opinion, if I had to pick 2 that were most likely to make a Season 3 appearance, it's Greg and Portia. But that's it for this video. Let me know what characters you think are going to come back in the next season, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, because I will have more White Lotus videos soon.